A lot of people work hard behind the scenes to keep Parker Schnabel's Yukon mining business running, but fans want to know how much Parker's crew members get paid while they risk their lives and limbs churning pay dirt 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in the harsh Klondike. Which workers make almost $500,000 a year running Parker's risky business? Come along on this fun trip as we look closely at how much Schnabel's group makes. Gold Rush is a hit show on the Discovery Channel that keeps the attention on young mining mogul Parker Schnabel every week. Millions of people follow his brave journey to get gold from the harsh Klondike Desert. Fans watch Parker lead the way in each important mining milestone, but they don't notice the daily risks and sacrifices of his entire staff. Parker was very open on social media when he talked about what his hardworking team gets to take home after months of digging. His openness was a welcome gift for all the people who want to know how much these regular workers on his salary make. Parker says that the new workers on his Yukon mine crew put in 75 hours a week for weeks during the short summer mining season. In general, they make about 34 Canadian dollars an hour. Paying by the hour might sound like a pretty cool job, but Parker's claim, which is based on being physically and mentally drained to the limit, says it's about CAD 65,000 over 25 weeks, or about 6 months, because of the hard Yukon winter that stops digging. Taxes and living costs at camp are taken into account, and new crew members' take-home pay gets closer and closer to CAD 40,000. It was a very hard job. Parker also said that teams work 12-hour shifts that are very strictly scheduled and start working together at 7 a.m. until 7 o'clock at night, when the summer sun in Alaska lets it. As the short season grows older and the days get shorter, shift changes begin at 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Parker gives his best workers some nice bonuses, even though the starting pay may not seem like much for the amount of work that is expected. The mine's huge fleet of rock trucks are some of Schnabel's most valuable assets, and the machine workers who are in charge of them can make more than $40,000 a year in Canadian dollars. These skilled miners drive huge Caterpillar trucks that can carry up to 50 tons of ore from the fields to the wash plant. Their never-ending runs are key to beating Parker's high 4,000-ounce, $6 million season gold goal. Even though it's hard on their bodies and takes a lot of time, workers who are put in charge of these important tasks could make 6 figures. Thanks to Parker's openness, fans now know more about how much Parker's crew makes. However, it's important to remember that the numbers he shared are medians and averages, not exact amounts. Pay for entry-level jobs changes depending on experience, bonuses are kept secret, and the amounts given could be in Canadian dollars instead of US dollars. As we've already talked about, Schnabel's new crew members work 75-hour weeks their first season. In just 5 days, that's more than twice as many hours as a normal 40-hour office job. And when mine is busy and there is a lot of daylight, those long shifts last from 7 a.m. until just before midnight. There are millions of dollars at stake every season, and sitting idle cuts into profits too much. And when your boss is a taskmaster like Parker Schnabel, you can't skip steps or take too long to do something. Speaking of the boss, let's see how much does Parker Schnabel make. Discussing Parker Schnabel's financial journey, it's intriguing to delve into his early years at Big Nugget, his grandfather's mining firm. From a young age, he displayed an uncanny aptitude for heavy machinery, operating equipment even before reaching pedal height. The question arises, did he commence earning a substantial income at such a tender age, and how has his net worth evolved over the years? Born on July 22, 1994, in Haines, Alaska, Parker Schnabel's journey in the mining industry commenced in his grandfather's firm, where he earned his stripes and eventually amassed a net worth of $15 million. His hard work in gold prospecting and mining, coupled with his foray into reality television, has significantly contributed to this impressive figure. The pivotal inquiry remains: what is the extent of his earnings? Parker's earnings from reality TV are notable, with payments per episode ranging from $10,000 to $25,000. For comparison, fellow cast member Jack Hoffman earns approximately $10,000 per episode. Consequently, Parker's annual income is estimated to surpass $1 million, solely from his involvement in the show Gold Rush. However, this leads to a crucial consideration. How does his income from gold findings impact his overall wealth? Having appeared in 330 episodes of Gold Rush by 2023, Parker Schnabel left his family mine in Season 4, extracting a remarkable 28 kg, 60 pounds of gold in a year. Additionally, his participation in and production of spin-offs like Gold Rush The Dirt and Gold Rush Parker's Trail further bolstered his financial standing. By the age of 24, He had mined gold valued at over $16 million. Beyond the glamorous figures, it's essential to account for expenses and salaries associated with his mining ventures. While the exact amount of his share remains undisclosed, making assumptions based on his considerable expenditures offers a perspective. Parker Schnabel's diverse car collection, ranging from modern marvels like the Ford F-150 Raptor and Chevrolet Corvette Stingray, to vintage classics such as a 1967 Ford Mustang GT500 and a 1970 Chevrolet C10 pickup truck, exemplifies his taste for the. Parker reminded them that when Mitch tore up the road at the airfield in Zone 3, they still felt the land below was fine. There was still possibility. Mitch's risk to mine ground under a road at the airfield for 281.50 ounces paid off earlier in the season. Parker said he will relocate a wash plant to that part of road near the river to start setting things up. Mitch could start that and prepare his staff, right? Mitch agreed they could. Parker quipped that he would clean gold again since there was a lot. Parker's 5M gold haul. Nona, a crew member, accidentally ruined a Big Red pipeline. The system suffered considerable damage. Nona called for aid. The dozer had snagged and torn the pipeline in half, releasing everything from the wash facility. It split the pipeline in two and also destroyed the wash plant manifold. As bypass, this provided plant water to the pre-wash. This was considered the worst possible situation at the time. She was gone when it took this pipe off. A 90-degree manifold linked the pump pipeline to the plant. A 90-degree manifold connecting the bypass and wash plant water supply was damaged. Mitch had to disconnect the bypass that controlled water flow, strip the manifold hoses, and reattach them to the plant. This crude repair may increase water pressure and flush gold from the sluice. After cutting off the damaged portion, they fused the pipe back together, saying it was like magic. Next, Mitch bent a flexible hose from the water supply to the wash plant. Mitch confirmed that they would need a flat 8-inch section to reach their water line without a bypass. Mitch relied on the pump for water pressure. The water flow resumed. After 4 hours, $30,000, and lost gold, they resumed pay dirt. Big Red's pipeline disaster was not new. Parker thought Nona was punishing herself hard for causing it. Parker rushed to get all the gold from Big Red before winter shut him down. However, he was in his D11 dozer to address a more important matter. Parker said it was difficult because they were behind on gold and wanted to get it out of the ground. But if they didn't undertake reclamation, they wouldn't have a future. The staff turned down the pump again due to another issue. A dirt-filled plant was described. From the distribution box, water and pay dirt were uniformly distributed throughout 4 sluice lines. Justin overloaded the facility to boost output, obstructing the distribution box and backing up Big Red. They then attempted system repair. Parker was close to breaking last year's 7,504 ounce mark when the season ended. Parker required 420 ounces of gold each week from his wash plants to keep on pace. Gold counting and weighing began. First gold weight, 115.4 ounces. Parker invested nearly $5 million in Mud Mountain and required 900 ounces to benefit from the cut. The following weight yielded 368.45 ounces. That may be the series' finest gold discovery. Lucifer plant manager Tyson Lee and foreman Mitch Blaschke attended the season's first double gold weigh. Parker told Ken that Big Red was put up well by the team. Parker said Mitch and Brennan usually worked together, which was excellent, but Tyson stepped up. Parker noted that this was their first cleaning on Ken's land, which was thrilling. Ken said he hadn't seen gold in 40 years. Parker opened the week 900 ounces below last season's total. Both plants had to average 235 ounces to equal last season. Parker commanded someone to yell numbers and poured out gold to weigh. First gold weight, 208.75 ounces. For the second batch from Big Red, the gold weight measured 263.8 ounces and was worth nearly $475,000. Parker stated Big Red had gotten him back up to speed. Thanks for watching. While you're still here, make sure to click the video on your screen for more mind-blowing videos.
Was becoming a reality. The ground was still paying out, but each ounce was coming at a higher cost, both in terms of fuel burned and equipment stressed to its limits. Parker's signature determination remained unshaken, but the question on everyone's mind was whether this pace could possibly be maintained. The season that changed everything. Multiple wash plants were running around the clock, processing pay dirt from claims spread across the Klondike. As the gold total started rolling in, something was different. Rich ground that should have been paying out was yielding less than expected. Equipment costs were eating into profits like never before. The empire Parker had built with such precision was starting to show cracks in its foundation. The next season would change everything. The signs were there, buried like fool's gold in promises that seemed too good to be true. The first major hit came when a supposedly rich claim turned out to be nothing but depleted ground. A $1 million mistake that would have crushed lesser operations. Test holes had shown promise, but as the crew dug deeper, the gold values disappeared like smoke in the Klondike wind. Water management, once Parker's specialty, became his operation's worst nightmare. The sophisticated systems that had set industry standards were now failing against unprecedented challenges. Springs nobody knew existed turned cuts into lakes overnight, drowning equipment and washing away precious time and money. The crew worked around the clock, fighting a losing battle against nature's fury. The equipment breakdowns hit next, like dominoes falling in a perfectly orchestrated disaster. Machines that had been pushed to their limits finally started giving up, one after another. The harmony of heavy machinery working in perfect sync was replaced by the discord of frustrated voices over crackling radios. The gold market's volatility struck another blow to Parker's operation. Fuel costs were soaring higher than excavator buckets, while gold prices swung wildly, making every operational decision a high-stakes gamble. The comfortable margins that had allowed for aggressive mining strategies were disappearing faster than summer in the Yukon. Parker found himself doing math he'd never had to consider before, calculating the cost of every yard of dirt moved, every hour of machine time, every drop of fuel burned. The days of focusing purely on production were over. Environmental regulations in the Canadian mining industry were tightening, requiring more paperwork, oversight, and restrictions on mining operations. Cuts that would have been approved without question in previous seasons now faced lengthy reviews and costly modifications. Water management plans needed complete overhauls to meet stricter standards. The ground might hold gold, but getting to it was becoming a different kind of challenge. The final straw came when a promising cut proved to be a costly bust. For the first time since those early days at Big Nugget, doubt crept into Parker's voice during cleanup. The industry took notice, and with his empire showing cracks and gold totals falling faster than Yukon Mercury, Parker's next challenge would not just test his mining skills, it would threaten everything he'd built. The decline hit Parker's operation like an avalanche, sudden, devastating, and impossible to stop once it started moving. Production numbers that once broke records were now breaking spirits, with gold totals dropping faster than thermometers in a Yukon winter. Wash plants that once thundered with constant activity now sat silent more often than they ran, victims of both mechanical failure and increasingly barren ground. Inside sources revealed that even Parker's most reliable cuts were yielding less than half their expected values. Confidential documents and crew testimonies exposed the true extent of the operation's struggles. Equipment that should have been replaced seasons ago was being held together with emergency repairs and desperate workarounds. The sophisticated water management systems, once the envy of every operation in the Klondike, were failing systematically. Pumps struggled against rising groundwater, while repair costs soared higher than